This week on Cultivating Care, we have Tim Knight, Vice President of Organizational Culture for Isakson Living. Tommy and I had the chance to meet with Tim at one of Isakson Living's locations, the Terraces at Peachtree Hills Place. While we were there, we got to experience firsthand the impact of Tim's work. One of the things that stood out to us was how the way Tim helps share member stories, and how those stories help create an environment where everyone feels like family. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we have enjoyed getting to know Tim and hearing his story.
Well, Tim, thanks for coming out today.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Yeah, we can't ask for a better morning.
I know, it's beautiful.
We're in June. It's like it was 55 degrees in the beginning of the day. We're maybe
when I got
60s.
here, it was about 62.
Okay.
So
yeah,
perfect.
Yeah. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to come hang out on the farm and kind of see where my passion is and see where that leads to in our conversation. I like having these conversations on the farm to have nature inspire us in some way, or at least be a setting to have a conversation. And as I said earlier, I'm just trying to learn more about who Tim is. I care about people. I think people is where it all starts. And we've had the opportunity to meet a few times as I've got involved in some of the activities in senior living. And so I've heard your story, but I'm hoping today maybe I hear a little bit more about that story.
Sure.
So what brought you into care? What's kind of your origin story of why Tim got into care?
When I was 17, I was in a car accident, and I spent some time in the hospital. And I decided at that point, because I had no idea what I wanted to do, I decided I was going to become a physical therapist.
Okay.
And so I got accepted into this great physical therapy school in Maine and was going to go in the fall, and I decided I needed something to do for the summer. So I took a CNA class during the summer, and they allowed you to go out into the field and do kind of a trial in each area of whatever you were interested in. So I did that. I realized really quickly that therapy was not what I wanted to do. And I had to do the nursing portion of the training first. And I always went back to that. And I started working as a CNA at 17, 18 years old. Realized that was really hard work, and that's probably not something I wanted to do forever. So I went back to nursing school, and it's kind of led me down this crazy path. I worked my way up into a director of nursing position. Did that for a long time. Really stressful. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're on call. You have to be ready to go at any time because I might have had to run in and cover a shift.
Right.
Really stressful. And so in 2017, I had a position as the president of the Maine Culture Change Coalition, and they oversaw senior living and how can we improve senior living. We were doing a lot of work around music and memory, that sort of thing. And I was on a call with the Pioneer Network, which is a national advocacy group for senior living. And I was talking to a colleague, and she said, I have this opportunity for you, but it's in Atlanta, Georgia. I was living in Maine at the time. And I was like, I don't know about Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know anything about Atlanta. So I did some research, and I thought, I think I'm going to throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah.
And so I applied for this position at Isakson Living, and Andy called me that afternoon, Andy Isakson, and said, I want you to come down and see what I'm working on. And so I came down for a long weekend, which happened to be the same weekend as the Super Bowl with the Falcons and the Patriots, and the Patriots won. That's just a side note. So I was here that weekend, and ended up going home, talking it over, and I said, I got to do this because all of my work in Maine was really retrofitting culture into old buildings, trying to make it home for people. Andy's vision was to create that from the ground up. And so I started working at Isakson Living in 2017 and opened the Pebblebrook Health Center that year. Beautiful spot. I've got to get you guys out there.
Yeah,
I know you've seen the terraces in Buckhead, but got to get you out to Park Springs because it's a very different experience. It's bigger. It's more, it's on 61 acres of land. It's beautiful.
Right.
It's right beside the park. So, it's hard to say no to that. So packed up and moved to Georgia.
Wow.
And
Wow.
here I am.
So that's an interesting journey that you've taken, and as it sounds like you're driven based on culture. I definitely
Definitely
get
culture.
that sense from you. It's
That's
something-
really my passion. My passion is really building home for people.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt like if you have to go into some level of care, you shouldn't have to give up everything that you've worked for or lived for.
Right.
And when Tommy comes to live with us, I want him to continue to garden. I want him to continue to enjoy outside.
Right.
Just because you move into care doesn't mean that you have to sit in your chair in front of the TV all day. It's really about creating those opportunities, really knowing you. That's also like a huge passion of mine, is getting to know people.
Yeah.
And, the more you know about someone, the better care you can provide. And,
Yeah.
it's really about, that's one of our key philosophies in our households is being known, knowing your story,
Yeah.
relationship building. And I also have a real passion for working with the people living with dementia, because they're still the same person.
Right.
They're just struggling with cognition. And, when you dig deep enough, you can really find them again, which sometimes they get lost.
Yeah.
And you have to dig a little bit harder.
Yeah. I that whole telling their story, that's real. When we came to the visit, because we went up to the memory care level and saw the stories outside of each person's room, and they were beautiful stories. I mean, and well, kind of written with pictures that were key to their life, people that were key to their story.
And really, not only does that celebrate their life, but it also gives the team working in the household some information to go on when you're trying to build relationship with someone. And if you're having a really bad day, you can take them to that photo and say, hey, listen, do you remember when you had this going on? And those pictures trigger memories and conversation, and it just makes the moment better.
Well, as I was really excited to hear that you had a big garden when you're up in Maine, and you're playing in your solarium with a raised bed and starting your journey with gardening there. In your life, what has nature told you as it relates to this is the way I should care for others? Has it ever inspired you to do something different or to think of your care in a different way?
I think growing up, I grew up in a really small town in Maine, and I spent the majority of my childhood outside.
Yeah.
And when I think about, needing to step back, needing to take that break, it always involves outside.
Yeah.
Even in the tiny yard that I have now, we have, chairs and a fire pit, and I need to be outside, and that connection to nature. And, the planting is another way of, having that raised bed with just, we just have herbs in there, and it's new to us, but it gives us something to care and nurture. And, I think that ties in really well with taking care of people, because the more you pour into it and the more compassion and time and, nurturing you put in, the better results you're going to get. And, I'm a real firm believer that, knowing people and that relationship aspect is so huge in everything that we do.
Yeah. Yeah. Your title position in the company, do other senior living facilities have that type of title? Because it seems like...
It seems to be more frequent now. my title is Vice President of Organizational Culture,
Yeah.
which is kind of new, but it's more out there now than because I think people really understand that you have to have a strong culture in order to really thrive as an organization.
Right.
And if somebody's not paying attention, it's going to fall apart. And that's what I've learned over the years is, you have to be on it all the time.
Yeah.
And you have to be paying attention. And if people know that you're paying attention, they're going to do better work.
Yeah.
And if they don't think that you're paying attention,
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about
I
it.
remember a quote on your presentation, and I probably don't have it perfectly phrased, but energy flows where attention goes.
And
Is that the quote?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
That's from The Secret. It's
okay,
actually from that book, The Secret.
okay.
But yeah, it's so, if you're paying attention,
Yeah.
like the garden, if you don't pay attention to this, if you walk away for a week,
A lot of trouble, a lot of weeds.
you're going to have a lot of weeds.
A lot of things on the ground.
And and it's the same thing in care. I mean, it's the same thing. We want to make sure that we're always paying attention. I have primary trainers in each community that's their primary job is to be in the household every day, paying attention to what's going on, coaching, mentoring. Hey, Tommy, I saw you do this. Maybe next time we want to try this. Maybe we'll do it a little different next time. But also having the trust in the relationship that it's okay that I tell you that you're not doing something right and you're open to listening. So we talk a lot about, that willing attitude as well. Because if you don't have a willing attitude, I don't really want you on my team.
Yeah.
I need you to be
Amen
open.
to that. That's why our company's called Free Will. Actually, it's free will is the part that came together for Free Will. And we want people to choose to be at work. We don't want to force them to be at work.
Right.
We want them to be
Right.
excited about what they're doing, have their own kind of self-motivation of, I'm here to serve. How can I be of service versus tell me what to do.
And, relationship also helps people not be out looking for another job. It helps with turnover.
Yeah.
I talked at the conference about consistency leads to quality. And you've got to have consistency in order to have a quality product.
Right.
So you want consistent people on your team, not a constant churn of turnover and, new people learning what we're all about. We want people that know what we're all about every day, and that makes a huge difference.
I know you put a lot into kind of orientation and training because that consistency, you got to kind of institutionalize that or systemize that. Share some of what you guys do to create that consistency in your environment.
So we have built into our process a 3-day orientation process, and the first day is really all about administrative things like here's how you park, this is here's your benefits, this is going to be where you report, get your time card, all that stuff, or name badge. But day 2 and 3 we refer to it as spirit training. And those 2 days are the group gets together. They're 2 8-hour days. We spend concentrated time just talking about what is your purpose, why do you come to work every day, how do your personal values and beliefs form how you show up in the world, and learn life stories.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to me, because I always ask this question at the end, it's always amazing to me when I ask the question, when was the last time you truly felt heard? And that person says, today. And that's powerful when you think about, we go through our lives and we never take the time to actually hear someone or listen to them and have, spend time together and just appreciate the moment. And, life gets busy and people just don't take that time. And I can certainly tell you that the majority of people have never sat down and really thought about their values and how it forms their life.
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference for people. And I think they walk away with a whole different feeling about what they're doing and why they're doing it, their purpose.
Yeah.
Really trying to connect them to the work that they do.
Yeah.
and make them, understand that they're in a great spot. They're at on a great team. I don't want them out looking for another job. I want them there because we need them.
Right. I mean, I saw, I don't know what the statistic is in senior living, but something like 60% turnover in caregivers.
And we're like 20 to 30. And the majority of that is growth within the organization, because we really do try to promote growth within the organization, because we have people that have, started out as a server in the independent dining room, and now she's the director of sales and marketing at Park Springs. I mean, she's grown up through the ranks, and she's been with the organization for 20 years. Zero turnover.
I love that.
Invest.
I think this is what you believe in, but I hear you care about the whole person. You want them to show up in a healthy way. You want them to feel like they have purpose. And that's really been a key thing for me over time is what we're doing is meaningful. I mean, it's what's drawn us into some of the types of customers we serve today, because you can apply technology to anything. Might as well apply it to something that's making this life, this is a better world to live in. And you're a part of it. So what helps you recharge? So that 60% turnover in your industry means there's burnout. There's things that you have to do and investing in yourself. So you can show up for that hard day of work. What do you do?
I'm probably a lot better at teaching it than I am actually applying it to my own life. But, I think that, recognizing where your boundaries are, setting clear boundaries with people. I've not been good at that throughout my life. I'm much better at it now, because, when you leave at the end of the day and there's 3 more things that need to get done, instead of staying and completing those 3 things, I know they're going to be there tomorrow. Like stepping back and saying, okay, listen, the world's not going to end if I don't get this done today. And just really it's about boundaries. And even with some of my coworkers, really being able to clearly set those boundaries, because, one of my favorite authors is Brene Brown, and one of her quotes is, clear is kind. So being really clear with people on what your expectations are, being really clear with people on what your boundaries are. I mean, that's helped me tremendously, because you have to do that as, or you do burn out.
And that's different for every person, right? So it's helpful.
And I need to go to the beach. My thing is the beach.
Beach, that's your happy place.
We go to Aruba every year. So Aruba's my happy place, and that's where I can decompress. And
I'm gonna have to go there. Yesterday, someone told me they go to Aruba. That's their favorite happy place.
Any place with water, pretty much. I'm a water sign, so I always am attracted to the water. And here I am in landlocked Atlanta, but it's been a challenge for me coming from Maine. We were near the ocean there, so not having that water nearby is kind of interesting. But we have to go there instead.
So, is there anything else you would want someone to know about your story and care that would help them in their journey? Because I see this as a way to nurture others. Having this conversation, getting it captured, allows people to have kind of that inspiration for keeping at it and finding new ways to approach it mentally for them. Anything beyond what we've talked about?
I think, just giving yourself some grace. As leaders, it's really hard not to get into that role of always having to have the answer, always having to know what's right and how the outcome's going to be, because we never know. But giving yourself some grace, giving other people some grace. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that, if you think that the person that you're in the relationship with has good intentions, that's the best way to go, because, I don't want to impose my thoughts of you having ill intentions. I want to always go into a relationship thinking, Tommy wants the best for me. I want the best for him. And that's how I work with my team. That's how I work with all of the staff, is just really about, you know, you're here because you want to be here.
Yeah.
And you're here because you have a passion to take care of seniors.
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you're probably not in the right place.
Yeah.
And that's spirit training, that the orientation program allows us to kind of get those questions answered early.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that people, that their personal values align with the organizational values, because they may not, and that's okay. But, you know, learning that earlier is a whole lot better than learning it 6 months in. And so, you know, that spirit training actually gives us the opportunity to figure that out, or help people figure that out if they're in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've had people that say, you know, I don't really believe that. That can't happen. Okay, well, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that concept of giving grace. At Threewell, I call it catching people doing great things, because we can always find the negative.
Absolutely.
And so
it's easier to find the negative.
It's easier to find the negative. And
Some of us make it easy.
it's just, and that's, I hate to say it, it's like, it's the nature of human beings will do that. So we have to be intentional about giving people grace.
And I think one of the other key philosophies in my, that I've really been working on this past year, is judgment.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always been quick to go to judgment. And when you think about, you know, who is this person really?
Yeah.
And, you know, versus my perception of that person.
Right.
Like, and when you think about it a little differently, and you go into the relationship a little differently, it's totally different. It's a different outcome. And, you know, I don't want, you know, I think of, like, you see the man standing on the corner with his little sign. Well, that's somebody's son.
Yeah.
You know, he's had a life. He has a life.
Yeah.
And, you know, you think, like, what are the things that have happened to him that's caused him to be in this situation? And does that mean that he's going to be there forever? I hope not.
Right.
But, you know, you want it to.
Part of his story.
Yeah.
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 Well, I appreciate you taking some time to tell your story and learn more.
Thank you.
We're just scratching the surface, I think. So I appreciate the time that you've taken.
I appreciate you listening to me.
Yeah. You're
I
welcome.
appreciate being heard.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
All right.